Penrhyn Castle was originally a medieval fortified manor house on the estate founded by Ednyfed Fichan. Built in 1438 by Sir William Griffith after being granted a royal licence to crenulate and add a fortified tower. It was later improved upon in 1782. Penrhyn Castle as it stands today was built by the architect Thomas Hopper in a neo-Norman style for the Pennant family between 1820 and 1833. Hopper took a hands-on approach for the renovation, extending to the interior, overseeing the design and manufacturing of furniture, carpets, and decorative objects within. The patterns, faces, and fantastical beasts of the furnishings were realised by the skills from local craftsmen, using materials of oak, ebony, marble, and slate from the family-owned Penrhyn Quarry, including an imperial 1-ton slate bed made for Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland when she visited in 1859. The castle sits upon high in the Menai Straits, revealing incredible views of Snowdonia, including Conway Bay. The grounds of the castle total 40,000 acres with Victorian-style gardens. There stands a conifer planted by Queen Victoria, as well as another by the first Queen of Romania, Elizabeth Vaid. George Hay Dawkins Pennant commissioned the castle at an estimated cost of £150,000, around £13 million when adjusted for inflation today. The Pennant family gained their wealth from both the slate industry in North Wales, as well as the sugar plantations in Jamaica. The Pennants had lived in Jamaica before returning to England in 1730. Richard Pennant, who bequeathed his entire estate to his second cousin George, used the proceeds from the plantation to open what was, at the time, the world's largest slate mine, Penrhyn Quarry. Known as Richard the Improver, he planted over 600,000 trees in the area, built roads, railways, schools, hotels, churches, and established farms. By 1790, Richard had built a harbour at the mouth of the River Cagan, Port Penrhyn, which transferred slate from his quarries to Bristol, Ireland, Liverpool, and London. Needless to say, he was a strong opponent to the abolitionist movement, a sentiment shared by George, who inherited his estate. With the castle finished, George died in 1840, and the estate was passed along to his daughter, Juliana, and her husband, Edward Gordon Douglas, who took on the Pennant name. Edward Gordon Douglas Pennant became First Lord Penrhyn of Llandegai, and later in 1866 gained peerage as the first Baron Penrhyn. Here was originally the main hall and entrance of the original house of Sir William Griffith. After Thomas Hopper's rebuild, it became used as a drawing room, a space for ladies to socialise and retreat to, whilst the library next door was used by the gentlemen. The warm hues of decoration display a feminine influence, restored in 1984 after their loss when the castle was used by the Daimler car manufacturing company during World War II. There is an ebony room leading to the drawing room where the ladies of Penrhyn would meet with the housekeeper and other serving staff to plan and talk over the scheduled meals for the day. The ebony room connects to the stunning spiral staircase here, rebuilt between 1822 and 1837 from the original structure. During this time, a vaulted basement was incorporated into the new strengthened structure of Penrhyn Castle. Before the death of George Hay Dawkins Pennant, he tasked his son-in-law, First Lord Penrhyn of Llandegai, to amass a collection of paintings for the castle. With great effect, the collection contained Dutch, Spanish, and Venetian paintings, with the help of a Belgian art advisor. Names in the collection include Bolotto, Canaletto, Rembrandt, Ruysdael, Wouvermans, and Vecchino, many of which can be seen in the castle today. This gave rise to Penrhyn's reputation as being the Gallery of North Wales during the Pennant's lifetime. The breakfast room here was used by the family as a private dining room when they were not entertaining guests. Painted lime green and the carved wooden ceiling in white during the Second World War, it was restored during 1984 to 1985 in a copy of the original materials. More intimate than the dining room, on display hangs the artwork collected by Edward to suit the needs of a wealthy house. By the early 1900s, relations between the Pennants of Penrhyn and local communities began to deteriorate because of the exploitation of workers in the family's quarry. After the Gold Standard Act of 1925, this led to a decrease in wages for miners across the country by 13.5%. centering on union rights, pay and working conditions. In 1926, this led to the longest-running industrial dispute in the history of Great Britain, known as the General Strike. In 1949, with the death of Hugh Douglas Pennant, the 4th Baron of Penrhyn, the land and title were split. Frank Douglas Pennant gained the title of 5th Baron Penrhyn, and the land went to the niece of Hugh, Lady Janet Harper. Her custodianship would be brief, as 2 years later, in 1951, she died in Penrhyn Castle with its land came under the care of the National Trust. Today it also houses a railway museum, something befitting to the history of the Pennants, as they built one of the earliest industrial railways in the world. The castle and grounds in its picturesque location are now open to the public to walk around, enjoy and admire.